Liana's room was up a single flight of stairs to the south of the castle. It wasn't her mother's choice. She used to have a room in the western tower near her mother's room which overlooked the city, but she insisted on a view of the cliffs and sea to look out upon. The brushes of the waves onto the cliffs and beach below helped her fall asleep. This particular room also had a covered balcony large enough for her chaise lounge, where she would sit and read. Liana enjoyed adventure novels where she could escape into a fantasy away from her responsibilities. Clerk tried to get her to read educational books on history and finance, but Liana could never get past more than 3 or 4 pages at a time. The Queen acknowledged the importance of Liana being amongst the citizens and building relationships despite Clerk greater intelligence, both in knowledge and teaching abilities, and so her educational time was split between attending one of the city schools where she first met Joel and Safina, and personal tutoring from Clerk in the castle in his large study. Having been an advisor to the Langton family for over 50 years, he had built up quite a collection of materials and scientific instruments that filled his study shelves from floor to ceiling. Books, ancient scrolls, golden telescopes, framed maps, clamps, timepieces, petri dishes, ornaments from other lands. Vivek had everything. Liana spent much of her time browsing the artifacts as she did studying. Her favourite section was the collection of valuable and colourful gems and stones. One item in particular always drew her attention, almost like it was calling to her. A small yet perfectly smooth red sphere that Vivek kept in a clear cuboid box in a drawer along with all his other gems. She'd once opened the box and was adamant that the sphere's vivid red shades pulsed as she looked into it, but Vivek had caught her as she held it and warned her never to touch anything without his permission. She abided by his wishes, such was her respect for him. Clerk Vivek's skills ranged from finance to chemistry, and he was one of the main reasons that Coriates had become such a successful trading nation despite its minuscule size. It was his discovery into a more efficient and effective refining process of the island's famous blue cobalt glass that first brought him to the Langton family's attention. He repeated this genius not long after the Day of Darkness had occurred, when the mountain's eruption caused cobalt and quartz to melt together. After a short period of theorizing and testing, he had found a refining process to make a more translucent blue shaded element. He called it cortoltium, and soon every land wanted a piece of this unique substance.